If you are a woman, this is for you. If you're not a woman, please just scroll past and don't watch any of this because we're talking about the nitty gritty details from Trim Healthy Wisdom about hormones, how your hormones can be healthier. And I hope you don't mind. I was hoping to share a little bit of my story. I don't share a lot of personal stuff in these sessions, but I'm hoping that my hormone story and what I had to do will be a help to someone else, especially someone who's feeling stuck. We have a lot to cover because these chapters were intense and there was a lot of information in them. So if you are just reading through Trim Healthy Wisdom, there are so many different focus areas that are so important, right? But hormones took an entirely huge section of the book and it was so needed. I love how Pearl and Serene are keeping it real with us and they basically flat out say there's no right or wrong answer here. They are pro hormone, but deciding what to optimize or if you should optimize your hormone, that's totally up to you. And that's really refreshing, right? Because I feel like some people are so dogmatic about this that I know I had felt when I was really uncomfortable with the idea of hormones before I did a ton of research. I felt really pressured, I guess, by people who were doing it. Not anybody in the THM community, but I had some friends who were using hormone therapy and like, you have to start this, you have to start cautious, a little concerned. So what Pearl and Serene say is that they believe we can thrive either way in Trim Healthy Wisdom when we focus on the positive mindset, the sour, the plant strong, the protein anchored approach and strength training. And by the way, if you're curious about how to actually do it practically so that it fits in your life with that protein anchored plant strong sour thing in your everyday, I'd love for you to join our THM Bootcamp. It's a monthly program where I coach women on how to make THM work in their busy lives, that practical stuff. And we have such a blast going through all of that. We have hundreds and hundreds of 5-star testimonials of people who've reached their goals, even people who've lost weight who haven't been able to at all, or even haven't been able to lose weight with THM for a very long time. So I'd love for you to join us there. We have gone through and put together the basics that work for everybody, and then a separate wisdom approach for people who want to try that. So we cover our bases there. But let's jump in and see what might work for you in your unique THM journey. Okay, so first they cover the history of hormones, which I found that very helpful because the study that they talk about in 2002 that hormone replacement therapy was not healthy, that it caused some scary health things. I had heard about that. And that was one thing that really strongly deterred me from hormone therapy. And since then, hormone replacement therapy, or HRT, is what people still call replacing hormones, no matter where they came from. But what Trim Healthy Mom is talking about here is bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. So it's a form of hormone replacement therapy, but it's the next step and it replaces only your natural hormones that your body has lost. It does not use horse hormones or synthetic hormones or anything like that. And this is an important distinction because I personally, when I was talking to my doctor about hormone replacement therapy, my doctor tried to put me on regular hormone replacement therapy, which is synthetic. That one was synthetic. It wasn't from horses or any animals. He wanted me to start hormone replacement therapy. I was kind of excited about that and ready to go, but the prescription I got was for synthetic. So I went to him and said, hey, I'd really like to try bioidentical. He wrote another synthetic prescription for me. Hey, I'm sorry, sir. Can you please fix this? And I'm thinking I need to find another doctor, but there are so few in my area that I really struggled. So I finally got on bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. Thank goodness, because my main symptom was not sleeping at night. And I had some other kind of crazy symptoms that were my cycles were changing. So I got on progesterone and testosterone, which we'll talk about a little bit. My doctor was not interested in my symptoms. I wanted to change it a couple of times because I was having really significant tenderness and starting to not sleep well again. And they were just not really interested in helping. The one suggestion my doctor had was to take a break from the progesterone. When I started on THMs instead, which ended up being cheaper for me with their Kiora bioidentical hormone replacement program, when I started theirs instead, my symptoms after like 2 weeks, the tenderness and things that I'd had like clockwork every single month, gone. It was time for them to start. And I was like, I must not be getting my period this month because I didn't have them. I did get it. I just had fewer cramps. The tenderness was gone. I was still sleeping well. I was shocked. And what I found out is that Trim Healthy Mama's Kiora's bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, their progesterone was at a higher dose than what my doctor was giving me. So then I had to research. I was like, why am I feeling better at a higher dose when Kiora's doctor said, which is my doctor now through Kiora, said you need this much, which is more than I had. My regular doctor was telling me to cut back. And so I started researching. The advice to cut back was wrong for me. Based on my symptoms, my doctor should have known that that's not the direction I needed to go. I was losing progesterone, which was causing some of these things, not taking too much. So I'm so thankful for Kiora. And if you're curious about that too, I'm partnering with Kiora. They have a free quiz you can take to just kind of evaluate your symptoms and see where you're at. But in any case, and my quick testimonial, was that quick? I don't know. I'll add on to it anyway. My quick testimonial is that the bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, even when I was taking maybe too little at the wrong time and I was paying through the nose for it through my regular doctor, that alone helped me break through a stubborn weight loss stall. Now, as a certified THM coach, I work with women. I've worked with thousands of women, and I work with women every single day who are stuck or stalled, and we get these amazing breakthroughs. Most often we see that that's just one piece of the puzzle. The hormones are a piece. The hormones are not the entire solution that will solve all of your problems, especially because you have to test and see how things are working. My first year on them did not get the results I was hoping for. A quick fix. I'll be honest with you. They were not a quick fix, but I still saw some benefit, and it was worth it to me to keep working through and seeing what would finally help. I'm just telling you, that's one piece of it. Many women need multiple pieces of the puzzle to make things just like the Trim Healthy Wisdom book says. If you are plant strong, if you are protein strong, if you are incorporating these things, if you are sour, if you don't know what that means, definitely read the book. It's so good. Or ask me or join my boot camp where we get into all of that. It's all of these little pieces together that work together for your better health and wellness and your healthier weight. It's all of them together. If you are not staying on plan and you decide to try bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, it is likely that you will see some benefit, but I wouldn't count on it to help you get where you want to go. You need everything together to be strong and healthy. So that's our goal, is strong, healthy, fat burning bodies, not fat storing bodies. And that's what we work on in my THM bootcamp. Back to Trim Healthy Wisdom. They cover a lot about how the natural isn't always natural. And one of the things that they talk about is, and I've actually had some friends bring this up to me, why don't you just let nature take its course? Let your bodies run out of hormones. But research we have now, the Trim Healthy Wisdom references, is that staying natural results in brain decline, bone fractures, heart attacks, and lots of mental health issues. So staying natural, according to Trim Healthy Wisdom, it doesn't automatically mean staying healthy. That may, in the case of, going through these hormone changes, mean dwindling energy, aging skin, deteriorating gut health, declining muscle, gaining weight, all of that. So we really need to be aware of what we're talking about when we're talking about staying natural. Now, I love, and I already covered this a little bit, they talk about it's not a quick fix. And actually, the quote that I wrote down it's something, no, I can't find it. Something like, we don't want you to think a hormone optimizing journey, if you choose it, will be a bed of roses. It's not like magic. It takes patience, right? And everybody's different in how you respond to the hormones. Everybody's different in what you need. So that's all something to take into consideration. They do talk about how insulin sensitivity, cholesterol, bone remineralization, and your metabolism can take a year or more to improve, and other things like your libido, better sleep, if you have hot flashes, night sweats. I'm not sure if they mentioned night sweats in that section in particular, but that was something I was dealing with. That might be a little faster. That might just take a few weeks or months of the hormone therapy before you're feeling better. By the way, in case you're curious, I'm 42. I just turned 42 a month ago, and I fall into the perimenopausal category. So where I'm starting to see hormone decline, and I did have, before I started my full journey, I had my testing done and saw that my progesterone was in postmenopausal levels. And that's why I initially, when I went to the doctor and was like, hey, I'm not sleeping, I'm gaining weight. I'm starting to sweat at night a little bit. What do you recommend? That's when we started getting into this. And I've been hearing about it on the THM podcast for a while, but at 42 years old, that's what I'm doing to combat this. And this is by no means a guarantee. And you all know, you've seen my disclaimers over and over again. I'm a certified THM coach. I work with people every day, but I'm not a doctor. You need to work with your doctor or with Kiora's doctor if you choose to go that way on what's best for you. My doctor had told me when I went to see him initially that he has women, and I still think, I'm not saying his whole approach was wrong. I'm just saying that didn't work super well for me. I was told a couple times, like, well, you're in your early 40s and you can expect more of this. And no, we're not going to adjust anything unless you want to take less, because they said, we just don't do that till you're older. Instead of paying attention to what was actually going on in my body, I felt like I was a number to my doctor. So all of that to say, that doctor had told me when I started, it's really good that you're starting young. And I was like, I'm young. Thank you so much. Because he said it is possible that you could get to menopause and not have any symptoms. He said, I have patients who start on hormones younger and sail right through, and the only symptom they have is the loss of their cycle. I was like, that sounds really good to me. It's not a promise, not a guarantee, but I like the idea of it. If that is possible, I'm all for that. And, he had told me, and again, I'm loosely quoting my doctor, you need to see your own doctor. He had told me that women who he's worked with to replace their hormones after menopause are so much healthier. So there's a wide range of ages that you could start at, and it's going to be completely up to you. But there are 3 different ages that they cover in Trim Healthy Wisdom. They have the pause seasons. If you read through that section, they cover premenopausal, perimenopausal. And what made me feel so much better is it said, this is where things get crazy. That's where you have the most challenging season of hormone optimization because your hormones are swinging back and forth. So their 2 choices they give you when you're in perimenopause are wait until full-blown menopause kicks in, which is what Pearl did, or start now, which protects you against the issues that hormone decline brings. And if you're premenopausal, you don't need to use anything. They say that there's absolutely no need. But if you're premenopausal and you have cycle issues, sometimes those are helped by oral progesterone, which is what I found. So the oral progesterone worked for me for a time when I was premenopausal, but I think it was as soon as I got into perimenopause, which I believe is about 10 years before you actually go into menopause. That's when I started to see things. And they also talk about how thyroid optimization can help a lot of people. Okay. Then they've got postmenopausal. They say once you're there, that's when it gets easier. It's a little simpler to start optimizing your hormones when you've stopped having periods. It just really is interesting and kind of depends on where you're at. Okay. So the thing that I think is a must read is the sections where they have Pearl and Serene's in Trim Healthy Wisdom, top 5 reasons for hormone therapy. Again, these are all in the hormone chapters beginning chapter 42 of the Trim Healthy Wisdom book. Pearl lists sleep, foggy thinking, and mood. Amen to that. I was feeling really foggy. I actually a couple of times had wondered if something was wrong with me. My family may still tell you something is wrong with me, but I was having things happen. Like I would put stuff in the wrong place. I wasn't able to absorb when people were telling me things. I'm sorry, can you say that again? I was forgetting things. After some time on the BHRT, that started to get better. And I almost couldn't believe how much better I felt and how bad it had gotten. I felt so crazy. So that was one of the things that Pearl talked about. Muscle wasting and bone density, lagging libido, and skin. Those are the things that she talks about, her reasons for being on hormone therapy, the things that hormone therapy addressed for her. And then Serene talks about her 5, which I just jotted them down. Some of them were similar: sleep, muscle building, things like that. Okay. So then they talk about understanding hormone options. And this is a must read. Please do not skim over this. It's kind of like when you read the Trim Healthy Wisdom book. There are a lot of sections that you can go to the bullets page. And by the way, okay, I hate telling people to spend money because it's not always easy. And I totally get that. Totally get it. Trust me, I'm with you on that. I don't like to spend money, but one of the best investments I made was the Trim Healthy Wisdom audiobook, ebook, and regular book bundle. I have gone between all 3 so many times, and it is my job. So I'm aware of that. Like I'm reading it 4 times so far. That's my job as a THM coach. I'm working with people and referencing pages from it all the time. So you may not have that need, but it is something that they have like the bullet summaries at the end that when I listened to them, it was good. But when I can open the book and read it, it's better. So I would just say if you haven't bought the actual physical book yet, you may want to because it's so good. Now, the audio version is great for when I'm doing laundry or doing things around the house, but the actual book is gold. Also, if you are listening to it on audio, the audio version, please don't listen to the very last bonus secret chapter that may or may not exist when kids are around. Just a little wording there. So it's great to use that bullet section that kind of covers the highlights for you for most of the book. The places where I would not just do that and I'd read the full chapter, there's a lot of places where I would do that. But the two most important, in my opinion, are the exercise chapter. As a coach, sometimes I have to push people to get moving, and that's my job, and I'm happy to do it. But it helps so much when they understand why. It's not just you're going to lose weight faster if you work out. It's not that. The exercise chapters go into detail about all of the body mechanisms and protections you have when you exercise. Those chapters are a must read. These hormone chapters are another must read. Please don't skip over them. They talk about estrogen, and I will tell you that I had a huge misunderstanding of estrogen. And in fact, a couple of years ago, I had told Pearl, hey, I'm dealing with some stubborn weight and I'm estrogen dominant. And I told her what my doctor said, and she suggested that I might go look for a second opinion or try to find a different way to address this because I actually wasn't estrogen dominant. And I had been told that so many times. That's why you can't lose weight. That's why you're stuck. That was not the case. It was not estrogen dominance. And I think that there's so much misunderstanding around hormones. You have to be your own advocate. You have to research. Reading these chapters just gives you a deeper understanding. Then they get into progesterone. One of the things that I think has had the best effect on my hormone journey is the progesterone. I'm just going to read you a quick summary of some of the things when you're lacking in progesterone. Now, I do recommend reading through estrogen too, but just because I personally feel like progesterone is my BFF right now. Progesterone is a necessary partner to estrogen. If you don't have enough estrogen, can overstimulate your uterus and breasts. Very interesting, right? Progesterone starts rapidly declining during perimenopause years. That's where I suddenly swung from being totally fine to postmenopausal progesterone levels. This can result in heavy periods, anxious feelings, loss of sleep, loss of bone, breast pain, all things that I was dealing with. And then they go into the benefits. It promotes GABA, which is a neurotransmitter that reduces anxiety and irritability. Now, I had low progesterone during all of my pregnancies. I have 5 kids plus a bonus, but wasn't pregnant there, obviously. With my 5 kids that I gave birth to, my progesterone was low. I had to take progesterone. And I'm, again, definitely at a doctor's direction. I wasn't doing that on my own or anything. I had terrible anxiety through every pregnancy that I had. Terrible. And then the baby would be born. And then I'd have a couple months where anxiety continued. And then as my hormones leveled out, I felt normal again. I stopped having anxiety at all. I felt great. And now I understand that progesterone was causing problems for me. That lack of progesterone, I needed it. I probably needed more than I was getting. My doctors were giving me progesterone because it was low enough to possibly induce a miscarriage. And so to keep the baby, I had several miscarriages. I was taking progesterone as soon as I got a positive pregnancy test. If I had more, which I don't know if that would have been safe while I was pregnant, I'm just saying my progesterone levels were still so low that I fully believe that was causing me anxiety. Progesterone also causes a sedative effect on your body. It can reduce obstructive sleep apnea. It offers protection to your breasts and slows the rate of breast cell growth. It can help you have strong bones, promotes memory. There are so many things. Testosterone, lots of great testosterone things. It's not just for men. We have a lot of women have testosterone too. And they go into the thyroid, they go into DHEA. These are all the things you need to know. Then in From Healthy Wisdom, they cover PCOS and endometriosis. They cover male hormones a little bit, which I definitely talked to my husband about too. But as you're reading through this, I just want you to look at the balanced perspective that you get from Trim Healthy Wisdom. It's your choice. They're just telling you, make it with all of the information that's available. Don't make the decision of whether or not you try bioidentical hormones based on fear of something you've heard that you've never researched or looked into. So they also say sometimes it's not just a choice between hormones or not hormones. Sometimes it's a choice between hormones. So that's something to pay attention to, right? So their wisdom reminds us that no matter what direction you go, though, having that strong, wise approach to how you eat and strength training can really help you, whatever track you take, to optimize your body for fat burning and ultimate health. Okay. So, what I want you to take from these chapters, please, is that your personal journey can be honored with whatever choice you make. But just remember that understanding your body and being patient with the process and making those informed choices is what's going to make the difference for you. And of course, if you want personal guidance from me, I personally coach every member of my boot camp. I personally check every food journal. I personally work with everybody and answer their questions. In the boot camp, we work together as a community, though. It's a one-on-one coaching experience in a supportive community to master that THM lifestyle and thrive at any stage of life with or without hormones. It's a wonderful opportunity to make progress if you feel like you're stuck, or to get locked into the systems that make THM, even Trim Healthy Wisdom, feel so much easier when you put them on autopilot. That's what we do there with the practical implementation. We've got those action steps to get you locked in and doing well on autopilot for the rest for your journey on THM. So please keep those things in mind. Please know that I'm rooting for you 100%. I have loved going through this book with you. We have more to come, so stay tuned. And I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye.